Now live. Okay, we're good now. It took me a minute. Hi, everybody. And this is Lorelei. I am from Third Eye with Lorelei, and I am going to be doing a live tarot reading today. So, hope you guys are ready. I've been doing tarot reads all day today, so it's a very good day for me. So, I actually did the thing where I actually pre-shuffled everything, so I'm kind of proud of myself that I prepared everything. All the people that know me really well know that that's kind of a big thing because, you know, I like to just fly by the seat of my pants a lot of times, and that can be really annoying. So, hi, Veronica. How are you? So anyway, here we are. And we're going to be doing a live tarot reading, and then I usually do a past life tarot read, tarot pull at the end. So that way, whoever is needing that experience will hopefully see and kind of understand where they're at in their existence and their spiritual journey. So let's begin with this card deck. So this is the Starseed Oracle. I love this deck. Super, super meaningful. Absolutely love all of the messages from these cards. So this is the first card here. And maybe this is for you, Veronica. And how appropriate is this for you? Water your garden. Huh. Those of you who don't know my friend Veronica, she has a green thumb. She has all the plant babies and actually sells plants. So I think that this is incredibly meaningful for you, Veronica, or for whoever else this is for too. So nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. So what is it that you need to do to take care of yourself? What is it that needs to be changed, really? Because a lot of times we get stuck on one way of doing things, and then we forget that we need to actually change things up and make things a little bit more up to date and a little bit more meaningful for our practice and our journey. So if that means that you need to maybe change how your self-care routine looks, whether you're going on hikes rather than going on walks, or maybe changing your diet up, or maybe it's meditating a little bit differently, maybe using a hertz frequency as opposed to just sitting in the quiet. There are so many different possibilities that you can utilize that will help you make your circumstances a little bit more nourishing and a little bit more meaningful in your spiritual practice. So I am actually going to read from the little book. Sometimes these have little nuggets of amazing, beautiful wisdom in it too. So Earth is a seasonal planet, and as such, you are a seasonal being, cyclic. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month, day after day after day. You are strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest, and refuel, to take a moment to restock, replenish, and slow right on down. Your body is the only body you're given, and it needs to be respected as such. You're being called to take responsibility for your well-being, to put your health and body first. I know it can feel like at times, like time is running out, and as if there are urgent things that simply cannot wait. However, if you keep pushing on, soon fatigue will set in. Hi, Julie. Hi. How are you? So soon fatigue will set in if you keep going at this rate. So this way of living is not sustainable. If anyone continues to race through life, eventually they will reach exhaustion, and it will take longer to recover than it would have done if you were just to rest. Immune system disorders and mystery illnesses are becoming more common because we're putting too much pressure on our bodies to keep up with the instantaneous pace of modern life. How are you being called to put on the brakes, to rest, restore, and rejuvenate? When was the last time you took a holiday or had a full weekend, day, or afternoon off? Look after your precious body and mind. Give yourself enough time to recover when you find yourself running on your reserves. There is enough time. Life will bend towards you when you do. And I think that is something. Hi, Lorena. ¿Cómo estás? So I think that phrase right there, life will bend towards you when you do, is something that's really important that needs to be understood. Hi, H. I love you. Thank you for being here. So when you take time to take care of yourself, when you take time to pay attention to those needs that are essential for you to actually operate in an optimal way, life will tend to bend towards you as you tend to bend towards it. So our bodies are our way to respect biology, in a sense. I know that may seem kind of weird, but our body is our direct connection to the earth, which is why when we die, we decompose and we become one with the earth, right? Because we are made of the same stuff. So when you respect your body and you give it what it needs in order to optimally produce and generate, you are in a way, in its own sense, respecting and bending towards the earth, because you are bowing to your body and you are bowing towards the earth. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So take the time to nourish and respect and rest in your body, so that way you can move forward more meaningfully and with more purpose and more vigor, because you're able to care for yourself, because nobody else is going to put your oxygen mask on, right? You have to do it yourself. Okay, so great way to start the day, the reading. Water your garden. Okay, all right. So, and then we're going to move on to this one. I think I have more in here for you guys too. I really do. I feel like there's more from my Starseed Oracle deck, but I wanted to share this one. So this next card deck, where did I put the box? Is this the Weaver Tarot. Again, these are my super shiny cards, so it can be a little bit like, oh my God, can't really see it. But if you can, they're so pretty, right? So the Threads of Fate make incredible tarot cards. And there's so much in these cards. Like, there's lots of little details that mean so much. And so that's why I was like, ooh, gotta get me some of them. So I did, and boy, they've been powerful. So at any rate, this is the card. Whoop, can we see it? It's so shiny. So shiny. Okay. So this is the Ace of Swords. And you see how much stuff is on here, you guys? There's so much happening. There's a sword, there's a hand, there's a laurel, there's a crown, there's a crescent moon. I mean, and then there's this geometrical shape down here that's kind of resemblant of a star. It's just, there's so much happening, and it's almost impossible to glean everything from it. So Julie, I think this might be for you then, because, you know, might be for you. So I have this little cheat sheet because I love these cards, and I want to know every single little nugget of detail. My Scorpios out there know what I'm talking about. They like to get all the juicy, delicious things that lie underneath the surface. So the sword is always representative of your truth area, right? So the sword represents air, the mental realm, change, bravery, communication, and power. And there are also associations with the suit. So it's an ace. So the ace represents beginnings, opening, and possibility. And let me see if I have any more on here that I want to talk about. Ooh, there's so much stuff, but there's not anything on here. Okay, so anyway, those are the two things. I'm not wrong. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like it when people tell me that I'm not wrong. Anyway, all right, let's see what my little book has to say about the Ace of Swords. Okay, so this represents truth, intellect, and clarity. And it usually indicates an expansion in our mental energy. Swords can cut through illusion and confusion and cloudiness, and they get us to the heart of the matter. So with this card, you can expect some new clarity, inspiration, and ideas that are coming your way. Usually aces usually represent that, is because when you have those new beginnings and you have this element associated with communication and the mental like all of that, it usually means that there is some new ideas and new communication that's coming your way that will make you feel a little bit more like uplifted and like kind of like invigorated in a way. Hello, Nicole. I knew that you would be here. I just knew you would. I knew you would. So this card, so we're on the Ace of Swords here. This card can challenge us in a way as it brings new shifts within us. And with these shifts, new negotiations must be made. Now notice that it said must be made, not just can be, but must be made. So you may find that you simply cannot stand still anymore. Whether where you were biting your tongue before, you are now speaking. Where you were once apathetic, you are now finding passion and a need for justice. These new realizations can feel awkward as we are walking to a new beat. We may feel off. We may mess up. But we must also continue forward. So look at these things as lessons as opposed to failures. That's like a big thing with those things. As you enter into a new space and then you start walking in that, it needs to be understood that the times where you stumble and you feel like, I didn't do that right, understand that there's a lesson to be understood, and it's not a failure, but simply learning. Speaking, managing the devil. Yeah. You know, what's funny is I was reading this out loud and I was like, yeah, she doesn't have a problem with the whole speaking up thing and the being passionate. I'm pretty sure you got that already. But there is a newness associated that I think needs to be understood here. So be prepared for those around you to have their own feelings or thoughts in response to your new way of being. Some of these relationships may need to be renegotiated. Others may just need some boundary work. And notice how I say others may just need some boundary work. So understand that as you move into this truth element, this new feeling of I learned something versus I failed. Yes, Nicole, exactly that. Like the more you meet yourself in a space of I learned something from this situation as opposed to God, I really messed this up. Like, why do I fail at this? And it's like, it's not about the falling and, it's not about failure. It's about what is it that you learned in this situation. It's the same thing in science. When something that's the whole experiment fails, it's not in the failure. It is in the learning that this didn't work. So what is going to work? Let's try something different. Okay. So others may just need some boundary work. So that is something I think also needs to be understood, because if your boundaries, yes, grace versus criticism, exactly. Oh, you always have the best nuggets. I love the nuggets. Sorry, that might be a little weird, but I love it. It's so good. Other people's boundaries, you can't really have control over. So sometimes that can leak over onto your own boundaries. So understand where yours are and where other people may lack, and be conscientious of that. And again, that grace not only with yourself, but with others needs to be understood, especially as you're living in your authenticity and you're speaking. So, but stay true to the Ace of Swords. It guides in clarity. So continue moving towards the truth and away from the clutter of others. The clutter of others. Ugh. I hate clutter, first of all. Second of all, the clutter of others, that makes me anxious. Maybe that's just my Virgo rising, but oh my God. Anyway, you are being pushed mentally. And as humans, we try to do our best to make sense of any new revelations we may have. We like to put them into boxes and then share them with others. It can be an exciting time, but something to be aware of is that as soon as you feel like you arrived at clarity or truth, you may peel back another layer tomorrow. Each level leads to another. Be curious about what is happening in this period, but do not think you found the end. It is never the end in this lifetime. I swear to God. I'm going to use the clean. That's right. So you get me. You get me. And it makes me crazy. So be curious about what is happening in this period, but do not think that you found the end. Write everything down. Continue to ask questions and learn and see the world with new eyes, but make it less absolute and more playful. And I think that is super important, because can I sit here a bit? Yes, exactly. You're like, I thought I just leveled up. So you're telling me I'm going to do this again, and now I'm going to have to uproot everything. And it's like, oh, for the love of God, can't we just sit here and just relax a minute? Totally feel you on that one. So really, it's just being in the state of newness and new eyes and being playful in the situations. And like Nicole was saying, grace versus criticism, looking at these times where you stumble, or these times where you feel like, oh shit, man, I just wish this would it would have been a little bit better. I would have handled that a little bit better. Understanding the grace in those situations is what's really going to carry you through, and be playful with it, and understand that this is all a learning experience. We're having this spiritual journey in a human body, and here we are, right? Okay. Loved this card. This, do you see why I love this deck? It's amazing. Level 9,000 now, no rest. Ha ha ha. It's true. Best of luck to you. And the resting thing. There's no rest for us light workers, like ever. It is ridiculous. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to these where I just kind of glean whatever information I can gather from just the card. So this is the Spellcaster Oracle. Boop-a-doop. I love these Oracle cards. They're very simple, but they have lots of goodness to them. So, sorry about the glare. So peace, can you guys see that okay? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Okay. So some of you right now are in a space of overwhelm. And I feel like there's quite a few of us out there that are in that space right now. But I feel like some in particular are at a point where they're at a pinnacle of the amount of stress and the amount of anxiety and what is to come, and it's putting you in a state of overwhelm. You've got way too much, and you're not letting go as quickly as you're piling on. And so I think what this card is challenging you to do is to take a moment to examine what's on your plate. Really check out and see what is really here right now, and what do I really, really need. And to really look at this from a space of objectivity, as opposed to like, well, I got to do all the things because I'm the person. And so, yeah, you are the person, but you also really need to understand that you don't need to carry everything with you also. So all that extra energy, that room, yes, I was just about to say that, H. Yeah, you. So you literally let that shit go. Let it go. You really just, you don't need it. You don't need it anymore. If you think that you can carry it with you, try not carrying it with you and see how that feels. You know, imagine being completely unanchored for a moment and see what that lightness feels like. See what that feels like in your body. See what that feels like to actually have a moment where you don't have to bring everything and trudge it along. You know, it can feel so amazing if you allow yourself to let go of what has already happened or what may happen, especially the what may happen. That thing, I think, gets us right in the nuggets, right? It's just like, you can't, if it's not already happening, there is no need for you to be just spinning your wheels about it, because you don't really know what's going to happen until you're in the present moment. So that's why you need to be present in this moment right now and see what's right in front of you. Oh, I love you too. I do. I love you so much. So when you're here and you're trying to do this and you're trying to achieve this, I imagine a plate of flute trying to add your favorite dessert, but keeping the mediocre side dish that seeps into your dessert and tainting it. Nicole, that was the best analogy. Like, okay, look, I really want to eat the cheesecake in addition to the steak, but I have to eat the Brussels sprouts in order. Ugh. Some of you are like, hey, I like Brussels sprouts. Look, I do not. They're gross. I can't do it. I just can't. They don't taste good to me. But you have to do it. You have to. Hi, Chrissy. Thank you for being here. So what do you need to let go? You don't have to eat the Brussels sprouts. You don't have to eat everything on the plate like Nicole's talking about. And that's okay. You can't, you're like, ew, that crappy stuff ruined my delicious, lovely dessert. So it's not even enjoyable. Exactly. So get rid of it. throw it directly in the garbage. You can do that. You are allowed. You are allowed to do that. And you're encouraged to, as this card is telling you, because it's disrupting your story of peace, my friends. What is your story of peace? And why are you allowing that crappy side dish on your main plate? Why? Drop the side dish. Eat the cake first. Thank you. Mic drop, Nicole. So, enjoy what you have in front of you. And if you're finding that there are things that are mucking up your life, examine it. Does it need to be there? What would it feel like if you got rid of it? Now, granted, we can't get rid of our children. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So anyway, understand that, examine from an observational standpoint what is actually in your situation right now. What can you get rid of? What can you honestly look at and say, I can do without this, and it will feel so much better. Look at it and find this. Find this for yourself, because this is going to make all the difference for you actually being able to show up in your life in a really meaningful way and be super productive versus being, I am so run down, I can't even do anything. I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted. I'm too anxious. So observe what needs to actually be let go of today. Really, give it a shot and let me know what happens. Okay, I think I want to do one more card for my starseed, and then I'm going to do my my past life cards. We likes that, huh? We likes the past life cards. I likes the past life cards. That's my thing. How did I miss the comment? Oh, here they are. How are you? Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. I have people on my Facebook that are also, and I didn't even see the comments, and I'm so sorry. Facebook people. Okay, so I think that this card will probably be for somebody over here, but we shall see. Just because I'm feeling kind of like, okay, I want to do more because I love doing it because it's so much fun. So let's see. If this is for you, let me know. Okay. Ooh. This one is one of my most favorite cards in this Oracle deck. So it's this one again, right? Starseed Oracle. So this is it. Can you guys see it? The Void. Now, usually when people get this, they're like, the Void, like what? That freaks me out. Like, what does that even mean? Like, does that mean that like I'm drifting out in space and I'm alone and it's like, no, this is the moment of pause. This is the moment of finding where you are in this cosmic womb. Whoop, we got really sort of woo-woo in this, didn't we? But the void space is literally the most yin energetic that you can get. What's the yin energetic? It is in traditional Chinese medicine, it is the space of cold, of damp, of creation that is more thought as opposed to the doing, which is the yang energetic, right? So what is happening in this space for you? And do you recognize this space? Are you familiar with this space? Do you veer away from it? Do you veer away from the quiet? Do you veer away from the things that are dark because you're afraid of the things that are there? And here's the thing, a lot of people are afraid of what's in the void because there's seemingly nothing, but actually what's in that space is potential. And so when you shift your perspective from the dark, the void, the expansive, you shift it to something that's what can be created in this space, because now there is potential for anything to be created. And if you look at this from an astrological component, whatever, I can't freaking talk. When you think of this from like an astronomy perspective, it was all created from a spark of existence, from the Big Bang billions of years ago. That potential created everything. So that happened in this space. And so can the evolution of your life. So can the most creative pieces of you be created in this dark space, in this void space, in the space of womb. And so some of you may look at this and go, kind of recoil, but this is what you need to be paying attention to. this is the thing that you need to understand the most, because it is in this dark space, in this thought space, that everything is created. So take a minute and sit in it. Sit in your dark space. Sit in meditation, in calm and quiet and in dark, and ask what needs to be understood in this space. What is it about you that needs to come forward, that needs to be acknowledged in this moment in time? What is it that you need to see more clearly that is maybe being shoved aside? So what's in this void space that you're afraid of looking at? So, ooh, see why I like this card? It's a good one. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna do 2 more. I say I'm only gonna do like 1 or 2 cards, and then I end up doing like 1,000,008 cards. But here we are, right? This is the thing. Okay. Oof. Okay, so I'm doing this one again. This is the Weaver Tarot again. Okay, the 4 of Swords. Now, like I said before, swords are coming up a lot. That's our air element. That's our truth element. That is the mental realm, bravery, communication, power. But the number 4 represents security, organization, and manifesting. So now we went into a space of new beginnings, into manifestation of new communication. So what is it that you are meaning to speak out into existence and manifest from your space of communication, from your mental space? And are you brave enough to allow it to be there? Because sometimes we get afraid to actually speak what it is that is our most authentic parts, and then it goes to the wayside. So what is it that needs to be understood that you need to speak out right now? And can you be brave enough to actually do it? And I would like to say yes, but that is an answer that you have to find within yourself to actually bring to life, if you will. So let me look at what my handy dandy little book here. Oop, I just went Blizz Clues. Anybody? Remember that show? Sorry. Okay. So the 4 of Swords represents rest and relaxation. So the 4 of Swords encourages you to rest and withdraw for the time being. There have been many battles fought, and it is important to relax and gather your strength while you can. There is an acknowledgement of the challenges you have overcome, but it is also important to create some separation. Stress, especially chronic stress, changes our cells, our neuroplasticity, and compromises our health. Relaxing and learning to de-stress is a practice, and you won't be perfect from the get-go. But it is in these periods of relaxation where we're able to gain perspective, resilience, and energy. So I think that there's kind of a pattern happening here. There's a lot of people that are experiencing this overwhelm and this stress, and they're not taking the time to rest and acknowledge this overwhelm. So if you struggle with allowing yourself these rest periods, consider your associations with rest. What does it mean when you're looking at rest periods? Do you think that you're like giving up? Is they thinking that, this is, if I'm resting, that means I'm being lazy? Well, maybe you need to readjust how you're looking at those rest periods and adjusting what that lens looks like, right? Because resting is essential for our movement forward, right? So how did your parents relax? Did they do it, or did they try to fill their time? When you are in stillness, what do you feel like reaching for? Try to bring awareness to any patterns here. Things like meditation, movement, but not super intense movement. So think like yoga, think like walks or hikes, the things that are purposeful movement that isn't overexertion. Dancing, spending time with friends, nature are all helpful. It doesn't matter so much what it is you do, as long as it feels relaxing to you. So this is, again, we got the peace card before, we have the water your garden before. Y'all need to relax. What's going on? Why aren't you guys taking your rest periods? You need a break. You guys need a break. You need to slow down for a minute and take time for yourself, because you're going to reach a point where you're going to either get sick and your body's going to say, and we're done now. All done. Now we're going to get sick and now we're going to have to stay in bed. And that sucks. I don't like that. That's the worst, because then you're like laid out and you have no choice. And if there's anything I hate more, it's, and I don't like saying hate, but still, if there's anything that I can't stand more, it's being taken out of my choice, being taken out because I didn't pay attention. And that is what being sick feels like for me. And now granted, I mean, you can't help it, but still, when you're in a place of stress and overwhelm, you're more likely to get to that place faster. So take a minute, examine what your relationship is to rest and relaxation. Is it actually like purposeful? Is it meaningful? Do you have a relationship with it that hones respect, or is it one that hones resentment? So sort out what that feels like to you, so that way you can try and shift your perspective, so that way when you do rest, you are recuperating in a really meaningful way so that you can move forward. Okay, last card, I swear. Oh, I'm not surprised to see this, okay? Are we surprised? Everything works in patterns, guys. I mean, come on. Healing. So, and you know what? I don't think I've seen this card in this deck. Is that not like the craziest thing? I have not seen this card. So here's the thing. Once we're on this journey, once we have decided, you know, I'm going to go for this thing, this is my purpose in life, I'm going to go for it, la, 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 we kind of forget to do the self-care bit. We forget that, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to keep going and I'm not going to stop and I'm going to get there and la, 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 and then you realize, oh my God, I'm completely overwhelmed with everything. It's because you need to stop and take a couple of days to care for yourself, to take a minute to realize that this is the body that you have in this lifetime. And if you aren't careful in how you respect it and how you honor and bow to that temple, it is not going to be sustainable. You cannot reach those goals without caring for yourself first. So with that being said, as you move forward, remember to date yourself in a way. Make a date for taking care of yourself. On this day, I'm going to go for a hike and I'm only going to drink water and I'm going to sit and I'm going to meditate on the top of a hill and it's going to be glorious. Whatever that looks like to you, even if it's going to a Zumba class and dancing and moving your hips and feeling different energy, it's important that you do this time, this sacred time, to where you bow to the body that you're in, because this is the only body you're going to get in this lifetime. So if you don't do the thing to honor the body, it's going to deteriorate. So let's not deteriorate. Let's do this and take a minute and many moments to love it and respect it and give it what it needs to move forward. Because you can reach all the things and all the goals in your life, but you have to honor the temple. You must first. Okay, so now I am going to move on to the past life cards. Are you guys ready for this? So all of you out there that are asking for a reading, this may be for you. We shall see. You let me know. This may be for you too. We'll see. And I just realized I already shuffled these cards, so I'm doing it again. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay. I think I know who this is, but I'm just gonna move forward and tell you what I'm seeing. So this person, the lifetime that I'm seeing that's starting to come through. Oof, and what's funny is I'm getting a sensation in my hand, and I feel like this was this was the hand in which he held his weapon. And this is actually in a really, really early time. And I feel like this person kept reincarnating into this place of warriorhood. And there is a sense of savior in this person. And he needs to feel like he is not only saving himself, but the whole, the protector, the knight in shining armor, obviously, because that's right. So, and you know, I'm getting this really heavy sensation in my hand, like this is where he held his weapon. And I want to say in this lifetime there was play associated with the warriorhood. So there was the serious training, and there was also a sense of play where I feel like he did like games, like jousting. That's the thing that first came to mind. Like there was jousting, and then there was also another like sword play, but then the swords were made out of wood. So there was like almost like a sparring between different soldiers and warriors, but it would be almost like there was bets involved. So I feel like this wouldn't be as frequent, but it would be something that would be enjoyable because it was something that he enjoyed doing all the time. It was almost like there were no real breaks. He would have the time that he would be training in his military experience, and then there would be times where there would be like a break, like a month or two break, where they would come home and then they would experience, like some would go home to their families, but he would come home and he was still very, very young in this lifetime that's coming through. And it's like medieval like this. I want to say that this is, I want to say that he had either a French mother, and then a British father. And I feel like so he knew both, because I'm getting both of them. He knew both languages. And I'm seeing really bright blue eyes and very, very dark black hair, very tall. And also, he was very powerful with a sword. And there was also one other weapon. I want to say it was a what is the one thing that I think it's a mace. Like it's the thing that you kind of wield above your head and like throw. And anyhow, that was the thing that I'm getting. And I feel like this man really dove into this lifestyle in a really meaningful way. And I think that in this life, it was hard for him to gain a lot of lasting relationships because there was constant change. And I think what is being understood in this lifetime is when you're trained at a young age, when he was trained at a young age to be a warrior and a fighter, there was a sense of camaraderie and a brotherhood. But it was like when he came home with all of these people, they dispersed and he was kind of standing on his own. And that's why he went into the games. So that way it would be like he would be getting the attention that he wanted, because I feel like his parents weren't there anymore. I almost feel like maybe this was sort of like an orphan situation. And so coming back into this, it was like, oh, you know, I don't really know what to do. You know, I don't have any family to come home to, so I'm just gonna joust, and I'm gonna do these things because I don't know what else to preoccupy my time. And I feel like that is something that's maybe what's being felt in this lifetime now, is this sense of not necessarily abandonment, but feeling like you do these things with these people and then they disperse and you kind of feel like you're just sort of left on your own. And that can be very isolating. And especially when you care for so many people and you fight so hard for other people and their safety and what they need, that you tend to feel like, well, what about me? So I feel like this lifetime that's coming through is one of, you know, feeling kind of isolated, feeling like you don't, you know, you're doing everything that you can to gain the acceptance from others, but not really getting it in a more meaningful way. And I feel like that is what needs to be understood about this lifetime that's coming through. So if that's for you, let me know, because I'd love to know. But that's what's coming through. This is the lifetime. And yeah, let me know, because I'd love to know if this was for you. And if not, oh well. I like looking at all this stuff because it's very interesting to me. So anyway, all right, you guys, that pretty much covers it for today. So if you have any questions, if you would like a personal reading, please DM me and let me know. I love doing tarot reads. They're my favoriteest thing. It's what I do. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me, and join me for tarot time again next week. Love you guys, and I will see you later. Let me end the video.